We're waking up to deeply disturbing and heartbreaking news today. Once again, a life has been lost on the streets of Minneapolis, and once again, it involves ICE. An American citizen is dead, and the country is watching in shock and anger. This comes at a moment when people are already rising up. Communities are protesting. Workers are walking out. Career officials inside the Justice Department and the FBI are resigning in protest, demanding accountability and justice for Renee Good. Before we even talk about the horrific video circulating today, we need to talk about what's happening in the streets, because that's where people are being forced to seek justice when institutions fail them. Accountability is being demanded by everyday people, but it must come from the highest levels of power. Tonight, new reporting reveals something even more troubling. Sources confirm that officials connected to the Trump administration directly interfered to shut down a federal investigation into the killing of Renee Good. Instead of investigating the ICE officer who pulled the trigger, the Department of Justice attempted to shift blame onto the victim herself, and even her grieving spouse. This decision sparked outrage inside the federal government. Leaders from the DOJ's Civil Rights Division resigned. Federal prosecutors in Minnesota stepped down. Even an FBI supervisor reportedly left after being blocked from opening what would normally be a standard investigation into a law enforcement killing. According to multiple sources, aides connected to the Deputy Attorney General ordered investigators to drop the case against the officer and instead look for reasons to criminalize the victim, despite the fact that she was shot multiple times at close range while attempting to flee. A judge ultimately rejected that effort, citing the obvious reality. The victim was already dead. Meanwhile, thousands of people took to the streets in freezing temperatures, standing together in solidarity. These are neighbors, friends, families, people demanding that their community stop being treated as disposable. What we are witnessing is not just corruption or misconduct. This is something far more dangerous. It's an enforcement system that believes it is untouchable, a system that tries to distract, deflect, and exhaust the public until outrage fades. There is now another video. It is painful, it is graphic, and it shows yet another person being beaten, shot, and killed in public. Viewers should be warned. It is deeply upsetting. Eyewitnesses describe federal agents firing multiple rounds at a single individual outside a small business in Minneapolis. After the shots were fired, agents were seen retreating from the chaos they created. Multiple witnesses have described the scene as an execution. This raises unavoidable questions. Why does it take multiple armed agents to subdue one person? Why was deadly force used so excessively? Why continue firing after the individual was already on the ground? History tells us what usually follows. Officials will claim justification. They will label the victim a threat. But time and again, the truth reveals something else. A regular person, a parent, a partner, a member of the community whose life is now gone. People across the country are standing together, in Minneapolis, Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, despite brutal cold and fear. And yet, the violence continues. This is not a failure of body cameras. This is not a lack of evidence. These actions are already being recorded by bystanders, by neighbors, by entire communities who know what's happening. The real problem is impunity. When armed agencies believe there are no consequences, abuse becomes routine. Funding continues, oversight disappears, and lives are lost. We've seen ICE agents threaten civilians simply for recording them. We've seen children used as leverage in enforcement operations. And now, once again, we've seen deadly force used in a place where it never should have been. How many more people have to die before something changes? This is not what a democracy looks like. This is not public safety. This is unchecked power. The people of Minneapolis have shown the country what courage looks like. They've shown what solidarity looks like. And they've shown that silence is not an option. If there is any lesson here, it's this. Accountability does not come from waiting quietly. It comes from pressure, from visibility, from refusing to look away. We cannot afford to become numb to this, because the moment we do, it becomes normal, and it should never be normal. I will continue to follow this story closely and bring updates as they happen. This is difficult to cover and difficult to watch, but it matters. Thank you for staying informed. Thank you for caring. And thank you for standing with the people who refuse to be ignored.